Welcome to Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry. That's Trevor, and that's Stoner, and we're bringing you the best content for DC sports. And today's topic, well, it's actually the Indianapolis Colts trading for Matt Ryan. And that seems to have stirred up quite a bit of trouble, including from our guy, Ari Mayrove. And he happened to tweet this out here. Carson Wentz could end up being great for Washington, but there's no hiding they overpaid out of desperation, plus took on his full contract. Ever since the Wentz trade, Matt Ryan became available, Baker Mayfield became available, Jimmy Garoppolo plus free agents are still available. Now, check out Ari Mayrove on our channel. We did a After the Whistle with him. There, he's wonderful. He's delight. Here, he's definitely stirring the pot. Now, Trev, what do you think about this? Did Washington jump the gun trading for Carson Wentz? Did they end up, as some people are saying, with the worst QB out of that deal?
Oh my gosh. No. We're fine. What we did is what needed to be done. We researched the guy who would bet fit our system, and we did what we had to do to go get him. If we had to take his full contract on, so be it. Who cares? If we gave up 2 third-rounders instead of 1, who cares? We got our guy. Why is everybody so mad? Matt Ryan was never on the radar. I think like early in the beginning of the rumblings of free agency, he was like Matt Ryan, but it tailed off. He's 37. His last memory is choking in the Super Bowl 28-3. I don't want that in Washington. I think we did just fine. People need to relax, calm down. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan's not this savior. I mean, there was a stat I saw on Twitter that since 2016, he has like the most NFL passing yards and like 5th in touchdowns. But I mean, he's 37. We're fine. That's my opinion on that. We're fine.
Stoner, you disagreeing here with Trev? Where Trev's on the Wentz camp. He is ready to take command, as the team likes to say, and roll with Commander Wentz. Are you with these people who think Matt Ryan's a better QB and Washington jumped the gun?
Hey, I'm with you, Trev. I mean, for the most part,
I'll take it.
And there's a lot of nuance to that tweet from Ari Mayrove. Okay, there's a lot. I mean, you can't just take it and just say, well, since he said this, then everything else falls into place that way.
Right.
First of all, it just came out very recently in the last couple hours that Atlanta was not looking to move Matt Ryan until the whole Deshaun Watson thing came up and they started pursuing Deshaun Watson. Right. Once that became apparent, Matt Ryan saw the writing on the wall. Hey, you don't want me here anymore. Kind of the same thing in Cleveland. Baker
did the same, anything. Maybe a little bit more public, which earned him some backlash. But
right. But it was kind of the same thing. Nobody was talking about Baker Mayfield being available until they started pursuing Deshaun Watson. So so there's some nuance to it. Do I think Matt Ryan might be a better quarterback even at this age than Carson Wentz? I could be convinced of that. However, do I think Washington made the right move at that time? 100%. Yes. 100%. I think they made the right move because it's also just came out in the last few hours that Washington had a list of quarterbacks that they wanted to go after. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Carson Wentz. They couldn't get Rodgers, obviously. They tried to get Russell Wilson, and they couldn't. Carson Wentz was their third guy. And like I've been saying ever since I think day one of our podcast, what I want for this front office, this organization to do is find a guy that everybody agrees is the guy and do whatever it takes to go get him so everybody in the building is behind it and there's no split camps. You don't have one guy liking this guy and one guy upset that you went after that guy. Everybody's all in. Go for it. Get your guy. If it costs you an extra draft pick, so be it, because you were proactive and not reactive. I'm okay with it. However, if it all worked out exactly the same, I might want Matt Ryan. I might. but I'm okay. I'm happy with Carson Wentz at this point until he starts throwing left-handed interceptions. I'll have a totally different opinion at that point, right?
Yeah, we all will for sure.
Yeah. And Nathan, what is your stance on it? I don't know that we know 100% how you feel about it.
You're right. You don't just yet. I feel like after John Keim's article came out, right, I think that people started coming around on Wentz and realizing that there was a process and there was thought put behind it. Now, some people, did bring up the fact that Joe Gibbs maybe not the best person to talk to. I mean, yes, he won with 3 separate QBs. He never really had a franchise guy, but he knows the position. And so it felt like a lot of people were really happy about it. But then this Matt Ryan trade happens, and I think they see some of the similarities, right? There's a 3rd round pick involved. Indianapolis doesn't take on the contract. All that dead money is stuck with Atlanta. So Indianapolis, from their standpoint, they just gave away Carson Wentz, got in his contract, took on 2 picks, and now they had to give up one pick, and they don't even have to take on a contract for a QB that has been one of the better QBs over the last decade.
Right.
They do have to take on his current contract, though, the $24 million.
They don't have, it's $40 million in dead cap space.
Right. They don't
for
have to deal
Atlanta. They don't have to deal with that. So they
got to deal with the $24 million.
They will have to pay him. But here's the thing. I don't think Matt Ryan at 37 years of age is heads and shoulders above Carson Wentz.
Thank you. I don't believe it
right
either.
now. I don't think that. Now, I can hear the argument from some to say that he might be like, if you're talking, this is the 15th best quarterback and the 14th best quarterback, fine. I can hear out that argument, but people are kind of treating this as if Washington has the 20th best quarterback and Matt Ryan is like still top
5. Yeah.
It's not even close. That's not what happened here. And I do agree, for what it's worth, Ari Meirov, again, great. Definitely need to be following him on Twitter. And we had some great fun with him in that After the Whistle. I think this one misses the mark, though, because like you said, there's that nuance. None of these players were alive. Now, I know that's what some of the fans are talking about. They should have waited. Washington should have waited. They shouldn't have shown. And he talked about the desperation to get one from Washington. Yes, they needed that desperation. They needed to go after their guy because, one, Winston has signed with the Saints. Trubisky was going to always pick Pittsburgh over Washington.
Yeah.
And so you're left for having to trade for a guy, trade for the one that you want. And these quarterbacks weren't available for you to start out. No. And all of this needs to be set before you start free agency. It needs to be something that you have in place. It's something that you can't wheel and deal. If you wait this far, this is a week, nearly a week into free agency. Okay. If you wait till now to trade for a QB, what were you doing during the first week?
Time.
Literally nothing. Because now it's going to be hard to build around your team if you wait so long to get your franchise quarterback or your leader. Who's going to want to come play because you're stuck? You settled for this quarterback because you waited a week. You know what I mean? So
some say desperation. I say being proactive. I say setting the market rather than reacting to the market. As soon as Russell Wilson was dealt, the next domino to fall was Carson Wentz getting traded. That's being proactive. That's saying we're going to get who we want to get and not wait for the leftovers. And who knows if Matt Ryan would have been available or Baker Mayfield. And again, these guys aren't head and shoulders above Carson Wentz, at least at this point, we don't know, but you assume that they're not head and shoulders above them or these free agents. Who are the free agents that are available right now? Right now, who are the free agents that are available?
Quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Quarterbacks. The top 3 are again gone. Trubisky, Winston, and Mariota has signed.
Yeah.
With Atlanta.
So none of the top 3 you're getting. I mean,
that's who you're stuck with. Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor signed. I mean, you're not getting anybody of value.
Could you imagine this fan base any fan base, but in our case, this fan base who's sitting there waiting for something to happen, all free agency, and we still don't have a quarterback. Can you imagine being Carolina right now? Sitting
Yeah,
there
no
going,
joke.
what are we doing?
Yeah.
Everybody's going out there and doing something to make the most important position in team sports in the entire world. We're doing, everyone else is doing something, and we're sitting here doing nothing. And we're going to end up with Sam Darnold, and I don't know who else is available right now. Josh Rosen. I don't know who's even out there, or a draft pick that you're going to roll the dice on.
It's very, very surprising, and I'm really glad that we did that and went ahead and got our quarterback because, like you said, we would be the fan base would riot.
Yeah, right there with Carolina. Like I said, these QBs. I mean, you have Baker Mayfield maybe available. I mean, already saying that he's available. Browns haven't actually given into his trade request the same way Matt Ryan had. They did that Atlanta did for Matt Ryan.
Well,
Who you're going to find a partner and what that price is going to be.
And Baker wanted to go to the Colts. He came out saying trade me to the Colts, and they were like, "Nah,
no,
we're going to get Matt Ryan instead of you." So the only best possible. I know I'm kind of going off a tangent, but Baker Mayfield's the only best quarterback available. Seattle's the only place he can go now that needs a quarterback. Other than that, where's Baker going to go? And I'm so glad we're not in that position. I'm so glad we're not in that position.
QB needy teams.
So shout out to the Washington Commanders front office and Ron Rivera for being proactive, not desperate, and going out and getting their guy while all these other teams who are quarterback needy too are like, what do we do? What do we do? Now we have to draft Kenny Pickett or something. So
now having said all that, this could totally blow up in Washington's face, and Carson Wentz could be the quarterback that he was for the last 2 weeks of the season last year and just be terrible. And we go 6-11 and everybody gets fired. And it could happen. We hope it doesn't, obviously, but at least they're trying. At least everybody's on the same page. You assume, because they did this early in free agency. They made a plan. They went after something that they were trying to go after, a quarterback. And they went for it. And they said, we're going to shore up this position now. We're not waiting for everybody else to make moves. So with that, and if they had done that with Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz was still available, I'd be saying the same thing. I'd be saying, well, they went after Matt Ryan because that
was their guy.
As I've mentioned several times as well. And Ron brought this up. And I know we've talked about this as well. If this works out, nobody cares what Washington gave up and how much they had to pay or any of that. If Carson Wentz ends up being where he was his second year and taking, the Philadelphia Eagles that far before getting injured, nobody cares what they gave up for him. And as I've said, that's keeping the $28 million on the books this year is perfect, because if he doesn't work out, you cut ties with them next year. You likely cut ties with Ron, and you move on.
Yeah,
this is way better. This is a quarterback who is 29 years old that Washington gave up third-round picks for. Yes, one of them could be a second-round pick next year, but you know what? If it's a second-round pick next year, that means it worked out. Who cares? Who cares about a second-round pick next year?
I don't.
If that happens, that means he played more than 70% of the snaps, and he played them at a level that kept Washington in contention, because I guarantee you they go 0-6 out the gate or something like that. Wentz is not playing a full season.
No, Taylor Heineke again.
You'll see Taylor Heineke. And then in which case, again, you just cut ties with everybody and start fresh. I don't want that. We're fans of this team.
Right. Of course we don't want
that. We're not Team Tank. We want this to work out. We're excited for the opportunity for this to work out. And Washington did what they needed to do to get their guy.
They did.
And another nuance to the trade also is that Matt Ryan has this year and next year is under contract. So whether he plays well or not, Indianapolis is going to be responsible for a $28 million
for guaranteed. It's 24 this year, be 28 next year for Ryan. It's 28 this year for Wentz.
And they
zero. Zero for next year.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know why people
that
think
plays
that we
into it.
got the worst part of this deal. Like,
Right.
we didn't. Who cares if
think-
we gave up another third rounder? Who
yeah.
cares?
I think some fans are just not happy with the Wentz deal. We'll have to see how it plays out in the season. I do want to know, what do you think?
Mhm.
What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Did Washington get the better quarterback out of the deal? Does it matter? Are you just ready for the season to start? Let us know. You know, Trev, you mentioned Kenny Pickett. And,
I did.
And people are going to want to stay tuned to this channel, because we are going to talk about this week about whether or not Washington should take a QB at 11. Let us know in the comments so we have those prepared for that. And until next time,
What?
be a fan.